my little party animals. Hiphiprenee here today with a brand new speed build for you, and today we are doing a collab. This is actually a really exciting collab. I was approached by SimplyUnique a few weeks ago, I think at this point, and she said that she was putting together this kind of neighborhood style collab, meaning that every single person in the collab was going to get a small section of a really big lot. In this case, it is a 64 by 64 lot. I did end up building in Oasis Springs. That kind of seemed to be what the backdrop was kind of going for as far as what the other houses looked like and what just kind of the lot itself was looking like. So that is where I ended up building it. But every single person in this collab, each of us got a little kind of squared off section of land so that we could create this really cool looking neighborhood. And I actually not only did this yellow house that you see me working on right now, but I also did a little brown ranch style house, and I only did the exterior for that. It's because we had somebody, I believe somebody dropped out of the collab kind of almost last minute, and SimplyUnique was going to build 2 houses on her own. And since I was the second to last person to go, I said, you know, I feel really bad that you have to do 2 houses, so why don't we split up the last house? I'll do half of it, you can do the other half, then neither of us have to do, you know, any crazy extra work or anything like that. So that's what we ended up doing. But we have some amazing people in this collab. Obviously, SimplyUnique put this together, so that was really awesome of her. I love doing these collabs. She was always really good about keeping everybody on track and, you know, just very organized, and I appreciate that about her, especially with these big group collabs. Sometimes they are really, really hard to keep track of just because there are so many people doing them. But we also have ChrissieYT, HellYeahHamster, Magpiecliff, SimSanctuary, Teatime Simmer, and SimplyBagel, and then of course myself as well. And I think everybody did a really cool job on this. I think I had one of the best spots as far as, you know, like when I was able to build this house, because I kind of got to see what everybody else was doing and almost let everybody else's builds sort of influence me. I noticed that we did not have any repeating house colors when I started building my house. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be the first one to repeat a house color. I want to make sure that, you know, I am also doing a color that we haven't done yet. So nobody else had done a yellow house. And you guys know yellow houses are kind of my weakness. I really, really love a yellow house. I think yellow is such a fun and bright and it's just a nice color. It just makes you happy to look at it. So I was excited that I got to do a yellow house here. And I don't know, I didn't really have kind of any specific direction I was going when I built this. This was my first attempt, and I was shocked. I was shocked that I got this build on my first attempt, because usually when I do builds where I am not looking at a reference or kind of an idea or something like that, usually it takes me a few tries to kind of get like the general shape of the build going. So I'll build it, and then I'll take some walls down and I'll rebuild it, and then eventually when I kind of find something that I, you know, enjoy at least a little bit, I will completely bulldoze the lot and I'll start back from scratch, just kind of building where I felt like I was going originally. I actually didn't have to do that this time. I just went in and just built it, and it just worked. I did actually do this house over the course of a few days, which for me is a little on the strange side. Typically when I do builds, I try to finish them in one day. I try not to let it go much further than that. Usually 2 days is okay, but anything over 2 days, I am the type of person that 100% will just forget. I will just forget that that is something that I have been building, and then it will sit there and it will sit there and it will sit there and it will never ever get done. But for some reason for this one, I did end up having to take quite a few breaks and come back to it, and, you know, take some breaks and come back to it. That being said, because I did that and I didn't do, you know, kind of my normal get everything done in this specific order, I actually forgot to take screenshots of this build. And then when I went to go start editing this, I realized that I could not remember what save file I built this in, and I can't find it because I have probably 15 to 20 active save files going at any given time. Some of them are for building, some of them are for playing, some of them are for Create a Sim. Like, I have a lot of different builds, and I don't remember what save file I built these in. So I was trying to find it so I could put screenshots in, and I couldn't find it. So that's my really long-winded way of saying I'm sorry. There are no screenshots. There are no screenshots at the end of this video. So I do apologize for that. That being said, now that I'm thinking about it, I uploaded this to the gallery because SimplyUnique had to complete the build. So I'm actually really feeling kind of dumb right now because I could have just re-downloaded the entire lot and done it that way. Well, too little too late, I say. We're here and this is what's happening, so I'm sorry you don't get any screenshots. That's just what happened. But anyway, we are going into some of the bedrooms in here. This kids' room is my favorite room in the house. First off, I think it's a really interesting shape, and I like that. Secondly, I don't know, I like the colors, I like the way I kind of fit everything in. I just think it's a really cute bedroom, and even though it is really tiny and there is not a lot of space going on in this room, I think that the space that I do have, I utilized it fairly well. I don't know if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So that was the yellow house that we built, and then we are going over to work on the ranch style house. Now I decided to do a ranch style house for the second house because I figured both SimplyUnique and I had to do essentially 1.5 houses. So I was thinking about it and I was like, well, if I have to do a second house, I'm not going to do a giant, crazy second house. I'm going to do a small, conservative second house. So this is a really tiny house. It is 1 bedroom. There's not a ton going on outside. And again, because I didn't want to repeat any of the colors being used by the houses already, I went with brown. No one else had done this shade of brown as far as I could see. So that is what I went with. And then I just added, some just decor to the outside of the house. Nothing crazy. But we are at the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely go check out the other entries in this collaboration. There will be a playlist linked at the end of this video for you. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like this video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I will see you next time. Bye!